Hello, everybody. I am Lauren, and
I'm Coach Kyle.
This is Kyle, and we are the coaches at TeamCosmicBodies, and this is our YouTube channel, and where we talk about tons of topics. So if you are wanting us to hit something, please comment down below, and we will get it and answer it in our next YouTube. We appreciate all the feedback and all the comments and everything. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what, Kyle?
I guess just how to not get burned out, or why it's, why you don't want to be perfect all the time and be too hard on yourself, and why, I always use the in quotations optimal, because optimal is just super tough. We're not robots. So anyway, I guess first things first is maybe talk about like habits. Like what, compared to when you're prepping or cutting, compared to when you're in a, eating a little bit more, maintenance, gaining phase.
Yeah, so obviously when we are getting ready for this bodybuilding stage, we get these habits.
Or cut, or just being
really
cutting.
We get these habits that are only good if you are prepping or getting, having your goal in the fat loss, but they're only for a short amount of time. You don't want to have these habits always, because it will honestly take over kind of
and what
your
she's
life.
What she's talking about is counting to the gram, right? Counting every little macro, every little food perfectly. Or if we were to send out spreadsheets for you to work, we're coaches, so right, we might send you out some stuff to fill out, and you're trying to do it perfect, and
steps,
and you have this perfect routine of all your cardio, and it, you really are super focused, where that's gonna take a big priority.
It's good to do that when you're in the goal and everything. I mean, we get addicted to it. We like it. We like the structure, the routine. I get really obsessed with my step count. I don't miss my cardio session. If it's 30 minutes, I do 30 minutes, not 26, not 28. My 30, or I don't skip that gym session. I tracking everything to the gram, my almond milk, my vegetables. I make sure I'm sleeping at a certain time, my supplement routine. I mean, everything is so, perfect. Well, I mean, it's not going to be super perfect, but I would say like excellent. Like I'm, pretty on it with everything. But when you go into your improvement season, you have to transition kind of out of that, because you can't stick with that for the long term. All those little habits are just for a short amount of time.
I mean, some people can, and that's fine if that does work with you, but I've just noticed a lot of people really have an issue with being all or nothing, right? So that's why they have to be perfect, because if not, if something goes off, it just snowballs effect. And so that's a big reason that can affect your longevity and your overall well-being, and just being able to improve, is that you're all or nothing. So as soon as the cut's over, or you start messing up here and there, it just snowballs, and you're like, F it, and it's all or nothing, compared to getting right back on track that next meal or that next day or whatever it may be. And so a lot of times it's just not good for longevity reasons to try to be so anal and OCD about it, everything, especially when you're not even cutting anymore. So a lot of times we have clients who are just overdoing it, and we might say, hey, this, you might not make it in the long run if you're counting your vegetables deep into an off season, and you are eating a ton, and you don't necessarily need to be doing that. So there's just different preferences and tips you might want to do based on if you're cutting or not, and if you're doing this stuff in the off season. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah, I will even tell some of my clients when they're checking in, I'm realizing that they're still really typing in the step count every day, and they're still giving me a lot of information, and I start telling them, hey, we don't need to be tracking our steps every day. Let's just stop doing that now. Let's just stop writing that in our spreadsheet.
Or every day,
Let's start writing that in our spreadsheet.
Yeah, we don't want you to get burned out, where it is have to be this, where you get burned out, and then you're like, lifting's not even fun anymore. So I guess that is the big thing is we want to talk about is basically you might want to only go to the gym 3 or 4 days a week if that fits your schedule too. Mm-hmm. Like, what is your preference and what can you stick to in the long run? Because if you're doing 2-a-days, some people will do that. And they're only doing like 3 exercises anyway, so they're trying to manage their fatigue well. But if they're doing 2-a-days, it just doesn't work in the long run. Yeah. So I guess what's the main topic of this is basically we want you to know the difference between these different parts of the process and the habits needed for that. So when you're getting ready and doing a cut, you might need to be a little bit more OCD in measuring compared to when you're not, because it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, but you still should go back to these good quality habits that you have in your improvement season or your maintenance phase where, yeah, like Kyle said, you're training 4 days a week and you have your good habits of your protein feedings and your habitual meals and still, doing some cardio here and there, getting outside for walks. But yes, trying to not be so optimal and perfect because we're not. And you can get burnt out if you are still tracking those steps and doing all these little tedious things.
When you do want to get back into the cut or the next prep, you're burned out where you just don't even want to ever do the stuff again.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a big reason why you should take time off away from the stage, and like it's a good time to do other things and socially be able to do more things and be more flexible. But you just got to remember, like you got to have good habits in the off season too, where it doesn't necessarily mean you go crazy though. Like you
don't want to be flipping a switch on and off.
You definitely still want to be like,
it's kind of like a dial, a dial up and like a dot. Like
you still want to be eating a high protein diet and like still be tracking your macros somewhat and your calories and not eat out every single meal. But so it's obviously easier said than done. But when you have coaches and a good strategy, because everyone's different too, right, on what their preferences are. So you kind of make this plan that's just super strict, and then you find out what is better for you and how you can move to intuitive eating if that fits you, right? And so that's what's nice to have a coach. It's like, okay, I'm going to pick these 4 things. I'm going to not track vegetables as closely. I'm not going to fill this out as much, but I'm going to be doing all this other stuff still.
Because if you are like this optimal person 24/7, even in your improvement season, you may be affecting other people around you that you're not even realizing, like your family and friends, or maybe you're stressing yourself out even more than you didn't even realize. Right? If I'm like, Kyle, I need to go get my steps in. He's like, what? We're watching TV together. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right? You almost want to like enjoy your life too.
Yeah.
Like unless you're winning the Olympia, or, like if you're winning and you're the top, I guess it kind of makes more sense if you're making good money and stuff. But for the most part, don't let you lose opportunities out and, some traveling opportunity because you won't be able to, So.
Okay, there we go. That's it. And thank you for watching and listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.